you want me to call you Sire?
No, I'm good, thanks. Right, here we are then. The first Desktop Grenadiers, what are we calling it? Dispatches, aren't we? I think that's a good name for a regular podcast. I don't know what these are even called, to be honest. Podcast, webinar, Zoom session.
A dispatch, yeah.
Dispatch, yeah. Is it dispatch or dispatch?
We'll have to Google that, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Anyway, we're digressing already. Welcome to everybody. This is Ross. You probably know me from the group already, Napoleonic PC Wargamers, or as it used to be called. But new day, new start. Not quite the start of the month, but as you can see, I'm not alone. We've got Mark with us as well. Mark is the new moderator, admin, not moderator. And he's going to help me generate new content, I suppose. Tell us about yourself, Mark.
Well, I've been into Napoleonic gaming for a long time. It's probably exactly the same story as loads of other people on the group. Got into board games in the late 70s, early 80s, and when computers started to dip their toe into strategy gaming, I had every different computer format that you can get, and I've just grown with it ever since. Never lost my interest in military history and Napoleonics.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning, still trying out new systems, whether it's on the computer or whether it's board game wise. There's always new experiences.
Every day is a training day.
Never stop learning.
Every day is a training day. So, why the name change then and everything? Well, I've been friends with Mark for quite a while now, and we've played a few games together across the board and have grand plans to play some more and whatever. And we thought, well, there's nothing really that crosses over from gaming on a PC to gaming on your tabletop or your desktop or wherever you want to do it. And it'd be quite a nice idea, we thought, to try and bring those two together, because we've all got a similar interest. We like wargaming, we like the Napoleonic era and just historical wargaming in general, so why not smash the two together and have a look at, well, how we can do it. And we came up with some ideas just to sort of keep the content fresh. As some people that own a PC and play your Scourge of Wars and your Tiller series and stuff, have got maybe a want to play a board game, but would have no idea where to start. Which one's good, which one's bad, because not all good, not all bad. And then similarly, people that are wargaming on a tabletop might have a look at all this John Tiller stuff and crikey, that looks good, but how do I get into that? So we thought, well, why don't we try to bridge the gap? It's all common interest, it's for the common good. We enjoy it, gives us something to do. We'll go from there.
Exactly.
So, that's the
and I think one's learned from the other, and they're both influenced by each other greatly. There's a lot of crossover, especially with the John Tiller WDS, as it's now known.
Yeah.
Series of games that's come from probably the old days of Avalon Hill in board games, and SPI and so on. There's a lot of the rules, a lot of the mechanisms are very, very similar.
And hexes. I mean, it's using hexes. That's just sort of your staple. Well, it doesn't have to be, I suppose, a boardwalk game, but that is probably the more common format.
Yeah, it is the more common format. And the one thing that was so exciting that, of course, that computer games brought to the arena was Fog of War. You just can't easily replicate that on a board game. There are ways to try and do it, but it's never going to be as good as completely hidden units that you only see when your men see it, and that's really hard to do.
Get into block territory, but then, I mean, that's a niche, and that's a bit like Marmite block games I've seen. And people love them or hate them. There's no in between there, for the most part, anyway. And then you get things like Vassal, which we'll talk about in due course. You know that it's on a PC, but it is a board game on a PC. And I think, like, to lockdown and when people just couldn't go play face to face and stuff, that came to the forefront. It seems to be huge now. I mean, you'd be more familiar with Vassal than me.
I got massively into it during the early months of the first lockdown of the pandemic last year, and massive eye opener, because of course you can play anywhere. You can play anyone anywhere, is what I meant to say. And with the bonus of you can try new stuff that you don't even own, as long as one of the players owns the title.
Yes,
And you can both actually play it together. So you can try something out, try a new game, try a new system. And you might end up getting into it and spending hundreds of pounds on games that you never knew you wanted. But
That's every wargamer ever, isn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's not unique, is it?
No.
But that's the beauty of it, and yeah, so that's one of the things that I think we'd like to try and help people with. If there's people out there want to dip the toe in the water and try out, Napoleonic board gaming, but on their PC via this free program Vassal, which is at vassalengine.org. It's worth a look.
There you go. Download Tabletop Simulator. That's another one that sort of comes up every now and then. And that's kind of, they're sort of trying to get into more realms of, it is tabletop games to a certain extent. You can use miniatures and things like that that are well represented on a PC. It's just a little bit more fiddly, I suppose. It takes a little bit getting used to.
It's 3D models, isn't it?
Yeah. And I would say that...
It's a bit like Total War versus WDS.
Yes, yeah.
You can adjust the camera, go around 360 degrees, up, down, wherever you want to go with other fixed games like WDS, which also is 3D, but it's top down and it's fixed view.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. Tabletop Simulator is pure 3D. So you can, if you were playing chess on it, you could zoom all the way around the board. And
your hand is replicated by the mouse, essentially. You're moving a virtual hand almost to move your pieces around. So it's a good idea. It seems to have taken off and whatever. It's not free, but I think it's a nominal fee. And I don't think the game library that it has at the moment isn't quite as extensive as that, or anywhere near as extensive as
No, but what you have got is a fantastic modding base of people out there, especially in a group called the Armchair Dragoons, who are doing a lot of Napoleonics and have been for about a year now, I think.
Yeah.
They're putting out some great playthroughs.
Yeah, if you want to see the pros do
live gaming. Really good.
Dave Matt's really good channel, really good content as well. And then you've actually got games that do cross over. There is a tabletop version and there is a PC version. Victory and Glory, Empires and Arms has its own version with AI. There's two that come. There's probably a couple more, but they're the two that come to mind. March to Glory, I'm not sure. I don't think it is. But there we go. So that's what we're trying to do, and have some fun along the way. Open up the channel to more people, so it's a collective group, and bring your attention to, like we said, the people that aren't aware of the PC games or aren't aware of the tabletop games. Just sort of have a bit of a focus on individual games, series of games. Like Operational Studies Group. I think that's a fantastic game system, and I've got a bit of a completist nature, and they're trying to do every one of Napoleon's battles.
For someone who doesn't know what OSG is,
Ross,
you want to give us a more detailed breakdown of
all-encompassing, and it's kind of like the Tiller scale, so sort of tactical, grand tactical, hex encounter, so you move encounters about. All units are represented that you would find in a battle. The level of detail is there. That's what I like in a good game. It has to be accurate. I don't just like necessarily having the units present there, but they're just on the wrong place and the place names are wrong, or the wrong units are there, and it's just a little bit too abstract. So historical accuracy is there. Not the most expensive, not the cheapest, but it's one of those that once you start have one or two and you get the system and you learn the system for one, it automatically goes to the next one. To make it a bit more random, they put some cards in there that are optional, so you get some optional rules that can sort of make it a little bit more abstract, but while staying historic. Worse weather effects, no supply for a turn, and things like that, just to sort of throw it in a bit left field. But the problem is, I get with a lot of war games, I play two-player, but I'm both players. I'll flip it around, and all of a sudden I'm the Spanish and I'm the French for the next turn.
Have you ever won?
Yeah, but I also lose every single time as well. It's annoying, that. Worst player I've ever played. And then we'll have a look at things like where to start. There is probably hundreds and hundreds of games out there, and there's something for everyone. There's strategic games, like War and Peace. I think I still want to get that on the table and do more than Eternal 2. I think that's a fantastic game. Then you go down and you got operational. You've got your tactical games, card-driven games. Just having a look there. Naval games, and there's a good choice for each of those, and ones to avoid as well. I'm sure you're aware there's one or two that avoid it. They try hard, but not quite there. And same with PC games. Where to start with them? Probably not as big a choice for PC games, unfortunately. Even though I consider it a golden...
It's not as well served at all, is it?
I read somewhere the other day online, somebody said this is a golden age for PC wargaming. And having a look around, yeah, there's a lot of games coming out and things, but not really in our niche little corner.
Just WDS.
WDS.
There's a few other companies trying. There is, well, you mentioned it earlier, just before we started this chat, actually. You mentioned about Ezra's, what was it called?
General Staff. Yeah.
General Staff, which is in development for the PC. I'm not sure if it's for the Mac, it might be. Coming out later this year, which is General Staff Black Powder, I think he's called it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And that is a military simulator, let's call it. It's kind of expert level, I believe. And it looks like the old, if you pick up the campaigns of Napoleon by Chandler and you open it up and look through the maps, the maps in this game look like that.
Like the Esposito one, yeah, exactly like that.
But he's hooked up and got a deal to bring some 3D programmers on to really, really beef up the 3D view.
I mean, it seems to be in development for ages, but I would rather it was a slow burner. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Slow burner, because then the more the more time they spend on it, we have a better chance of having a good product at the end of it. And I think it will be. I can't see anything bad happening with it. Touch wood. No. Probably cursed.
I'm intrigued. I think it'll probably end up being real time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that at all.
It's almost like a little bit of Kriegspiel in there.
Yeah.
You know, without an umpire, I suppose. And it's a sandbox, so there's no reason you couldn't create any single battle that you can think of from the Age of Black Powder.
Yeah.
A lot of Civil War there. I mean, I know he's got Waterloo there, Quatre Bras, Ligny, that's in there. And they'll take it, they come with it. And maybe DLCs or whatever. So that's definitely one to watch out for. Waterloo 3D, that was another one that we got a little bit excited about.
Yeah.
But it seems to be almost a stillborn.
Stalled.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing about it. They updated their website, I think tail end of last year, more stills and videos, but that's it. They just seem to have gone quiet. Unless they just surprise us and say, surprise, there it is. But we'll see. And then, like you said, John said of WDS, hopefully there'll be something from them after their acquisition.
I'm excited. WDS, all the changes that we've had in the last couple of months.
It's only for the good. I mean, I feel a bit guilty not having any content for them.
It's unheard of at this level for a computer game company to do the level of support that they're doing. Upgrading every single title simultaneously overnight.
Overnight.
Yeah, almost 100 games, and
that's crazy. 100 games.
I know.
And more to come.
And if there's one thing about WDS, previously JTS, obviously for John Tiller, was they're great for finding opponents anywhere across the world. The amount of new people that we've all met. Yeah.
And whether you want to go hardcore and house rules, or you just want to play it as it stands and tournaments and all sorts,
that's one thing that we can discuss in a future episode. I think is your thoughts and ideas that you've already had with WDS games about using house rules. Why use them? What's the benefit? Does it add to the historical narrative? Why use a courier system and all this kind of stuff?
I mean, it's not
it's basically to try and replicate a lot of stuff that already happens in board games, but in WDS.
Well, I think when we did Waterloo, I sort of introduced the courier system and stuff to.
That was during our six-player Waterloo campaign that we ran last year, wasn't it?
Tried to, but yeah, we did, and we gave a good effort, to be honest. We see that as a board game, in essence. It's where we can start and build upon it to suit our, not needs, but our interests and make it what we want. It doesn't have to be in the game, necessarily, but it didn't take much to actually get it up and running. A couple of like-minded people scribbling some stuff down, let's follow that. And I think it made it a better experience.
Oh, it's made it, it's exciting.
But I mean, part of what I was thinking, and I've got a big list of stuff in front of us for things that we could do, it's something like a live stream. Advertise it, put it up, and do what these lads do on YouTube and what have you. And if people pop up, they can ask questions. We can have a chat about it, and why not? You know, might not. It might just be you and me on our own chatting. But happy with that. Happy with that.
Yeah.
What else? Things like top tens. You know, what do you have on the table all the time? And desert island games and all this, that, the other. That's another idea. I dare say people will jump up with, "I'd love you to do a video of this," or "It'd be nice to see this in action," or "I've heard about this." Or,
yeah, if anyone's got any ideas and comments, please, you know, make some comments on this video.
Give us some ideas, anyway.
It would, yeah. Another idea we had is talking about where to pick up board games from.
Yes.
If you're an old hand, you already know. But if you're new to this, then we can give you loads of tips on that.
Places where not to as well. You know, there's not to, but it might appear attractive to go on certain cheaper sites, but they'll never have it.
Yeah.
They'll take your money, but they'll never have it. Yeah, I mean, in the US, I suppose, where I'd say the majority of people watching this or in the group and stuff are just. That's the simplicity of it. In the UK, we're served by people like Second Chance Games, which I think I've got shares in them by now, to be honest. Really good service, getting next day delivery. Even I live in an island in the south of England, and they still deliver. And one I hadn't heard of, you said Titan.
Titan Games,
Yeah, hadn't heard of that.
It's a sole proprietor business, I think. It's titangames.co.uk, I think it is. I'd have to check for the next episode, but really good, really good. I've ordered.
We don't really have friendly local game stores here.
But I tell you how I find out game prices. You might already know this, so forgive me if you do. Boardgameprices.co.uk.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just a catch-all. It's one of those databases that just maps prices of all currently available games.
Yeah, if it's advertised online, it picks it up.
Imports everything. You go to that site, boardgameprices.co.uk. Obviously, it's no good if you're in the States, if you're outside the UK. But great for comparisons and who's got it and who hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I
saved a fortune using that.
It's always a little red dot for the ones I want, not in stock.
Yeah,
not in stock.
It is, yeah.
But it's good. I mean, after the B word, when we left our brethren in Europe, it did get a little bit harder to get stuff over and a little bit longer. And there was one or two companies in Germany, I remember, that I used to use. I can't remember the name. Daspiel, maybe? And they just stopped. They said, well, we're not going to do it until we sort it out. They're not going to do it, which is a bit of a shame. Second-hand market is alive and kicking, as always, as well. I think if I was to give any advice for anybody watching this, like, I want to wet my whistle, how do I get into it? It's Board Game Geek. You have to get on there. It's the pinnacle Bible. What would you call it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, you can search for any board game ever created, and it'll be there. And it won't just give you the back of the box blurb. For every single title, you've got a myriad of images, custom photographs that people have uploaded. You've got a forum for every single game. You've got a marketplace if you want to buy or sell it. And the forums are great for checking rules, checking AARs, pretty much everything for every game. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think.
And there's special sections for Napoleonics as well. So I mean, well served.
I don't think I've ever typed a game in that it hasn't had. I might have typed the name in wrong. You've got to be specific when you're typing the name in, but it comes up. You start typing Napoleon and it just brings it up in the search bar.
That's it.
People upload the components, so you see all the counters that you get. You see the map, like you're saying, and sort of after-action reports. The blurb tells you the scale, the complexity, solitaire suitability. And without getting the game, it's everything you need to go to, you know. And
great for things like custom gameplay aids that people who've already bought the game 5 years ago, they've already created some kind of player aid that deals with all the uncertainties from the rule book, for instance.
Yes.
Print it out on more detailed sequence of players, or even a card-based sequence of play that tell you exactly what to do as you're playing along. All these kind of things. It's fantastic for that.
Fantastic resource. I don't know of anything that could actually hold a candle to it. I don't think there is anything else. There might be. I might have just been ignorant there, but I don't think there's anything that we get to that. On the PC side, nothing like that exists. You got your Steams and everything like that. And
well, Steam has a forum for every game, doesn't it? I guess
it does in reviews, but I'd say PC gamers are a little bit more. What's the word I'm going to use? A bit careful now. Wild, erratic. You know,
it's a more dynamic marketplace.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. That's exactly how I should have said it. Took the words right out of my mouth. Whereas wargaming, I think this is probably one for another video we can talk about. But in general, I mean, I came to PC gaming a lot sooner than I did board gaming. It's relatively fresh, last sort of 3-4 years, I suppose, maybe a little bit longer. PC gaming from mid-90s. And when I came to board gaming and sort of got into it, there was people of a certain age, males of a certain age, had retired and a bit grumpy sometimes, and whether they like newcomers or not, you have that preconceived notion. And to break that barrier and get into it, you realise actually no, it's not like ourselves. We're not.
It's not like
very
that,
old. We're just old. So yeah, breaking down that barrier, and if we can help people to break in, and you get the bug for it, and then the rest of it's on them. Well, there we go. So what have you
that's what we're going to try and do, isn't it, Ross? And we'll see how this goes. We're probably aiming at doing something every couple of weeks, or maybe every 3 or 4 weeks, depending on each other's schedules and the interest level.
Yeah.
And try and keep it a bit more dynamic and exciting, and not replicate anything that's gone before, if we can help it.
If we can help it, yeah. There won't be any unboxings. All right. Well, we'll have chats. We'll just wargaming chat, isn't it? Really. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a couple of live feeds as well. Generate a bit of interest in them, and then see how that goes. And that's it, really. So we're Desktop Grenadiers now. Ex-Napoleonic PC Wargamers.
That's it.
King is dead, long live the king, and all that.
We're looking forward to it. And if anyone's got comments and ideas, please message, like I said before, message below, and
100%.
let us know.
I'm not going to do a quirky thing. I'm going to change my background every time we do. Do you know what that game is?
No.
I'll give you a clue. Look at the name of the country. The countries.
It's what, sorry?
Oh, you can just about see it in the bottom corner as well, if you're savvy.
That says Hexacine at the bottom corner there. No.
Napoleon against Europe.
Ah, is that what it is?
Yeah, lovely looking game. All Hexacine games are.
And strategic, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Right, well, on that note, I don't think there's much more.
No, that serves as an intro, doesn't it?
It does indeed. I think next time, a top 5 or top 3, depends how we feel, might be a good idea, just to sort of give people an idea if they want to start. Well, we're recommending it. Make sure you choose some good titles.
Yeah, and I think if we do it's going to be a quick intro and a look around the Vassal site and my experiences and your experiences with porting board games to computers, which I think is where it's at digitally. There'll always be some hardcore gamers that want to keep it on the tabletop, and I understand that.
Yeah,
but it served me fantastic over the last 18 months, 2 years. Played against players all over the world because of, and this is board games I'm talking about, not PC games. Yeah. PC games, it's easy to find an opponent, isn't it? Yeah, but board games is different. Right. So yeah, we should talk about that in more detail. And if anyone has got or feels the need to have any guidance more quickly than waiting for another episode, just shout, and we're quite happy to
do our best.
So PM back and forth and help you out.
Yeah. And if I don't know the answer to something, Mark will know the answer. And if we don't know the answer, we'll know somebody that does know the answer and we can set it up. And well, there we go then. Right. Well, I think on that note, the intro, we're all covered. And thanks for watching. If you have watched to the end, don't blame me if you haven't. And we'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.
Take care, everyone.
See you later.